Hello everyone, Rob Guest from football.london here and welcome to the latest episode of Gold and Guest Talk Tottenham, sponsored by NordVPN. Joining me today, it's Alistair Gold. You well?
I am, thanks. I hope you are too. I don't know why I went quite high pitched there. I am. I don't know whether I'm trying to convince myself that I am well. Yes, I'm fine. Thank you very much. And looking forward to more Tottenham Hotspur discussion. A bonus second episode this week. We've got a few little bits and pieces to tidy up, a bit of housekeeping, things to discuss, and hopefully stuff that people can get back to us with their views on as well, I'd hope.
Yeah, first thing we're going to talk about is something you've discussed in a piece on the football.london website earlier today. It's regarding Tottenham's Player of the Season award. We're only a month away now from the end of the Premier League season. Spurs are at home. Final game against Brighton and Hove Albion, and that's when the awards are usually dished out. I think was it a couple of seasons ago. It was when they were doing the lap of honour around the pitch. Music was put on at full blast. But it's certainly going to be interesting in that game against Brighton when it comes to the awards, because let's be honest, it's been an absolute dire season in the Premier League. The Europa League campaign has saved Tottenham and Ange at the moment, and fingers crossed we will be able to talk about Spurs taking part in the final in Bilbao on Wednesday, May the 21st. But when it comes to Tottenham's season today, fair to say very few candidates for a Player of the Season.
Yes. I was going to think of anything else to say, but the answer is yes. I was trying to think, have clubs ever just said, no, we're not doing a Player of the Season this year? There must be some. I feel like there was one recently, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think there has been a couple of examples in recent years. Can't remember who. I'm not going to guess the clubs just in case I'm wrong. But
Everton haven't then.
We might have done it previously. We might have, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
It's like, I know what people are saying right now. They're probably saying, Player of the Season? This season? And I would say that often when a club has a bad season, there's a real standout player that you can kind of think, oh, okay, well, at least they've been fantastic or anything like that. It's not really the case with Spurs. It's been a really this is why I wrote the piece, because I knew that but very few people were going to really sync up with their answers to it. Often you'll have everyone say, oh, it's Harry Kane. Harry Kane scored a load of goals. It must be him this season. Whereas actually this year, anyone that's done well has done well in spells. Most people have been injured over the course of the season at some point, so they've missed a month or two. Everyone's form has naturally dipped with the teams has. Some players have come in over the course of the season, done really well, but it's been a part of the season rather than the full season. It's honestly one of the most difficult. We can look at some of the potentials. Personally, and this is kind of where my feelings lie, it goes with the tracksuit you're wearing that people listening to the podcast can't see. The two Swedes, if I could share the award, I would give it to Dejan Kulusevski for the first half of the season and Lucas Bergvall for the second half of the season. Kulusevski, he's had, there was a period at the start of the season, he was just flying. He was one of the best players in the Premier League, let alone at Tottenham. But you kind of look at his stats, and yes, I know there's been a stress fracture to the foot in there as well. He's got 20 goal involvements this season, but all but 4 of those came in 2024. Actually, since the turn of the year, he's had less of an impact. And we know the reasons. Part of it is overplayed, having to play through a lot of those injury crisis games when he was essentially kind of hobbling around looking absolutely knackered at times, and also the injury as well. But I think first half of the season, I think he runs away with it. But in the second half of the season, that's when I switch over to Lucas Bergvall, really, because he's been one of the first names on the team sheet. When everyone else has looked lacking confidence, he's grabbed games by the scruff of the neck, and he's just turned 19, which just makes it all the more ridiculous. So they're the two I would put forward in kind of my upper echelons of the list that we've got. Who else do you think deserves a nod?
Jed Spence, definitely.
Yep.
I think they're, for me, the top 3, Decky, Lucas Bergvall and Jed Spence. But Jed's season only really probably started in December. A bit like Lucas Bergvall in terms of the Premier League, because for Spence, key at Coventry in September, but even after that, vital intervention with the goal late on, which then spurred Tottenham on to go and win at the CBS Arena. Minutes were few and far between for him, and his omission from the Europa League squad in the first half of the campaign didn't help his cause one bit. But since he came into the team, I think it was Southampton, middle of December, assist after 30 seconds for James Maddison's goal. He's just hit new levels altogether. And when we're talking about players who have been consistent week in, week out, Jed's definitely in that category. He's been phenomenal, even playing at left back. Right back's his usual position, but he looks at home on the left. And we've said it a number of times on the podcast. He's better playing on the left for Spurs just because it allows him to cut inside on his right when he's inverting. I don't think Jed will win it, but I think a lot will be pushing his case for it. And for me, definitely top 3.
Yeah, I think circumstances play a big part in his as well. Kind of what he's overcome in a way. Many players could have sulked and really not taken a chance when it came, but he absolutely grabbed it. He kind of remained patient and worked really hard. And yeah, I think he's up there definitely. But like you say, it's just a smaller sample size. That's the problem for him. There should be the fans player of the year should come out, so we should know within the next couple of weeks kind of who the fans have voted for. Even after putting the article out, I could see this kind of nobody was going for everyone the same. I think Bergwall was probably the one that had the most, but even still, there were loads of other shouts. And like another shout, really, probably kind of more under the radar, is someone like Archie Gray, because you kind of forget how much he had to contribute and had to play because he's not in the team right now. There is obviously a recency thing to it. And of course, I don't think you can say like his performance were amazing or incredible or anything, because quite frankly, the incredible aspect of it was that he was playing in a position he'd never played in his life and was having to learn on the go in the Premier League, which is ridiculous for someone who was 18, is now 19. And I was looking it up. He's played the 6th most minutes in the Tottenham squad this season. You kind of forget how many minutes he had to play. He was playing at centre back week in, week out, every 3 to 4 days during the middle chunk of the season. 2,838 minutes to his name. And he's just battled away, whether it's been at left back, sometimes centre back, right back occasionally, very rarely and only briefly in the actual midfield role that he will make his name for at Spurs. But I do wonder if we're talking about Jed Spence and the circumstances, maybe Archie deserves a shout at least for kind of what he's just put into Spurs this season and kind of putting himself on the line from over and over again. I'm sure when he signed up from Leeds last summer, it was not with the career map planned out that he was going to play as a centre-back for a massive chunk of this season. Anyone else you'd pop in the running?
I think when you're looking at numbers, Brennan Johnson's going to have to be in there because of the amount of goals he's scored. Some key ones as well, popping up at the back post at exactly the right time when the ball's on the left. But when you look at Brennan's game time, a lot of it, he's just not involved in doing enough in his general play. And yeah, other than scoring the goals, which is vitally important for Tottenham, and those goals have been key this season, especially in the Europa League and Premier League as well, because it could be a lot lower in the table. Just if he's not scoring, fans question like, what's he doing? What's he contributing? But no, I think he can certainly be pleased with his goal tally so far, and I imagine he will contribute a couple more towards the end of the season. So I think he's certainly got to be in the conversation. James Maddison as well. I think his season may have gone under the radar, especially in terms of his goals and assists. He's contributed some really good numbers this season. But again, what I'd probably say with Maddison is he has some good games, and then there's a lot of games where he's just not influential at all, or having a say on proceedings at times when Tottenham need their senior players to be standing up and taking the game by a scruff of the neck. But yeah, I'd certainly say those two. And I've been really impressed with Dominic Solanke as well this season. He's made a difference up front. The goals maybe haven't flowed for him on a regular basis, as was the case at Bournemouth last year. But you ask Ange Postecoglou, and his teammates about him and what he brings to the team, they'll all wax lyrical about the hard work he puts in. So I think he's had a good season as well.
Yeah, I mean, going back to Brennan Johnson, his stats are kind of, or his numbers are mad this season. It's like in any other kind of season, any other club, maybe he would be a serious contender for player of the season. You know, he's got 23 goal involvements this season, which is mad. 16 goals, 7 assists. He's got 16 goal involvements in 30 Premier League games. So every other game he's contributing in some form directly to a goal. Scored against, you know, it's not like he's like a flat track bully or anything. He's scored against, he's had either a goal or assist against Newcastle, Brentford, Man United, Brighton, Villa, City, Roma, Liverpool, away in Galatasaray, he got an assist as well. That crucial goal, the one at Coventry as well, is like he actually does pop up in big moments as well. There's almost this feeling like, oh, he only scores against like the Southampton Ipswiches of this world. It's like, no, he actually has done it in some big games. But I agree. I think it's the consistency element, and also I know it sounds mad when people are scoring goals, but what he does around the scoring goals, is it enough? Does he need to do more? I mean, he got a lot of praise the other night for the performance in Frankfurt, didn't he? For everything he did off the ball from Postecoglou, and I get that. I do think he defends a lot more than people give him credit for. But yeah, he would normally. Matters, it's probably been his best season numbers wise. It's got to be up there in terms of his seasons. I think he's got 20 goal involvements. 21 goal involvements, 11 goals, 10 assists. So that is, again, on paper, a pretty decent season. And again, some big performances. Probably the 2 goals at City stand out. You know, the Etihad. Winner against United as well. He kind of has turned up in some big moments, but again, it's just been one of those seasons, and this probably spreads across the whole team rather than just kind of on individuals. There's nobody's really been consistent enough because, like, I mean, it also availability. I've had some people suggesting Mickey van der Ven to me, and it's like you can't have Mickey van der Ven. It's like Christian Romero. They barely played this season. Yes, I'm sure in the bulk of the few games he's played, he's done well, but it's not enough of a kind of a portion, a sample size. I mean, even Sonny is understandably he's not going to be up for player of the season this year. He's not had his best season at all by a mile. He will be the first to admit he hasn't reached his usual levels. Yet he also has 23 goal involvements this season. 23 goal involvements in 43 matches. And he's scored against the likes of Arsenal, Chelsea, West Ham, Man United, Roma, and at Hoffenheim in a big game as well. It's kind of almost like Sonny's been rubbish. But actually, even while not reaching the levels he could normally reach, he's contributed quite a lot again. It's such a weird season. And I agree. I think Solanke's done far more than people are kind of giving him credit for. I mean, his numbers, he's got, I think he's got 20 goal involvements as well. Yeah, it doesn't, he could have got more, but then the service could have been more. And if you're going to look at something just like, if we're just going to give an award out for availability, which I know is not the reason to do it, Pedro Porro has been there. I think he's the only one that hasn't had an injury, has he? He's played 3,712 minutes this season, which is almost 600 more than the next player, which is Kulusevski. He's, I think he's got 8 assists, 3 goals. He's been there for Spurs when they've needed him, Porro. We can definitely kind of quibble about the level of quality sometimes, but maybe that is because of how many minutes he's played. But, yeah, if there's like a merit award for being there, I think Pedro Porro probably deserves it. But yeah, it's a funny one. And look, the story hasn't been written yet. There is someone who could, in these next couple of weeks, be a star in the semi-finals, and hopefully, if there's a final, be the season-defining winner of the game. And that very much could swing that vote in someone's favour.
Yeah, I think recency bias might play a part in it as well. Like you said, if someone has a big contribution, but right, you've got to name one player. We can't have you splitting it half a season for Decky, Lucas Bergvall get second part. For you, then, who is your player of the season as things stand right now?
I was happy with my split vote. You've ruined it. I'm going to go for, oh my word, I think impact in the Premier League, adaptation to Premier League, learning from an incredibly tough night in Turkey at Galatasaray. I'm going to go with Lucas Bergvall. But if there was a young player, I'd give it him, the young player, and maybe Decky, the senior one. But I think overall, I'd probably give it to Lucas.
Right. I'd go Decky, personally, player of the season. I think it's been fantastic. Performances, second half of the season, maybe not as good as the opening half, but influential. Tottenham's player of the season by far in the first few months. Incredible performances. And going into the season, I think there were question marks over Decky.
Oh,
Like,
there were, yeah.
where does he play in the team? And to be honest, he wasn't even in the Tottenham team on the opening night of Leicester in the Monday night football. But first time in the Tottenham shirt, he's contributed double figures for goals and assists. And even though those goals and assists might not have been there since January, he's still produced some really big performances. He's a driving force for Tottenham. And undoubtedly, I think his best season to date. I mean, he was fantastic when he first came in on loan from Juventus, but as a season as a whole, I think this one stand out for him. And yeah, you just got to build a team around him. Really good player.
Yeah, I think between those two, the two Swedes, there's probably no wrong answer, to be honest. Doesn't it feel like a lifetime ago that we were talking about Decky playing as a striker in pre-season and doing really well?
Yeah, honestly, and so much has happened in
Crazy.
that time. And to be honest, at that time, we wouldn't have even been contemplating Tottenham being 16th in the Premier League table, potentially could finish 17th. But it's just been a crazy season. And yeah, hopefully it will finish on a positive note. Before we get into Sunday's game against Liverpool, Ali's going to tell us about the benefits of using NordVPN. And on the subject of Lucas Bergvall and Dane Kulusevski, I mean, you can use Nord to change your virtual location to Sweden if you want.
Well, it looks like you have with your Sweden tracksuit on. Yes, I could. I could make myself feel that I'm in Stockholm. I did actually use it when I went to Stockholm because I went and interviewed Lucas a couple of months before he joined Spurs, actually, in the May of the year he joined. And I did use NordVPN while I was in Stockholm because it helps you when you want to access things from abroad when you're at home, or likewise access things at home if you're abroad. You might want to sit down for a moment and watch a show that you've paid for the subscription of on one of the many streaming platforms back home, but you find yourself out and abroad on a holiday or a work trip away like myself, and have a couple of moments and realize, oh, I can't actually access the stuff I normally access at home because of those pesky European restrictions. But if you set your device with NordVPN to thinking it's back in your original home country, suddenly you're able to access things again. It also works on other levels. It works on a security level to a degree. If you're using public Wi-Fi, it can help you stop some of the nasty people that want to get things off your devices. And yeah, on top of all of that, NordVPN is the fastest VPN in the world, and that means no buffering, no lagging, and you can stream your favorite shows for anywhere in the world without your bandwidth throttling. You could book flights, you could book hotels, you could book train tickets, all via making your device think it's in the country of destination that you want to be booking those from, and that could end up getting you cheaper deals on stuff. And talking of cheaper deals, to get the best discount off your NordVPN plan, go to nordvpn.com/goldguest. And through our podcast, our link gives you an extra 4 months on the 2-year plan. There's no risk with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee, and the link is in the podcast episode description box if you just missed it there.
Right, so Sunday's game at Anfield, potentially a big day for Arne Slot and his Liverpool team as they can get their hands on the Premier League title. I think they just need the point now, to be honest, and they'll probably be rubbing their hands at the prospect of Tottenham visiting Merseyside, given their last 3 visits to Anfield. 4-0 defeat, start of February in the second leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final. 4-2 defeat, probably about this time last year, and then the year before when Ryan Mason was interim head coach. 4-3 defeat, and both of those league games, Spurs, did they go 4-0 down in both? And then it was a late comeback.
I've tried to erase them from my mind.
Yeah.
I generally can't remember.
Because I think the first 4-3 game at Liverpool, that was like almost a carbon copy of the Newcastle game a few weeks before when it was like 5-0 after 20 minutes.
Oh, you're talking about the Jota one?
Oh, that was it. 3-3, and then Jota scored in the last minute, wasn't it? That was it.
How could you forget Richie's late goal?
Yeah, it was Lucas Moura, wasn't it? The pass back, which got cut out.
Oh, yeah.
Then last year went 4-0 down after an hour, 2 late goals, just left it too late. And then back in February, 4-0 defeat. Spurs just don't do well at Anfield, let's be honest.
No. Who will leave the bigger legacy? Which Lucas will leave the bigger legacy on Tottenham? Lucas Moura or Lucas Bergvall?
Hopefully Lucas Bergvall. There's still an awful lot to be written in his chapter at Spurs, but
absolutely,
who can forget Lucas's hat-trick at Ajax as well?
I know, it pretty much defined his entire time. It shows you, doesn't it? As a footballer, you can kind of dine out on like one moment for the rest of your career, and he absolutely should. It was an amazing, amazing night. But yes, hopefully Lucas Bergvall will give us a kind of more sustained kind of legacy at Tottenham. That would be lovely. You know, maybe future captain, maybe in the middle. But I digress. Liverpool. I try not to talk about Liverpool because it's pretty much been pain most of the time. Although Lucas did score in the first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final. I really would have probably liked Palace to have won last night, so that Liverpool were already assured of the title, wouldn't have had to worry. It would have been just a point then, wouldn't it? That would have done it, wouldn't it?
I think it's just the point. They won it last night. If Palace won at Arsenal,
that's what I mean.
Wrapped it up last night, yeah. But they just need a point now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If Palace had won, maybe Liverpool would have been more in like, we've done it, party mode, and Spurs could have maybe been the party poopers, whereas still needing that point, albeit I think they're way ahead on goal difference, so you probably wouldn't even need the point, to be honest. But although saying that, if you're going to lose all the remaining games, maybe, but they're not. But yeah, it's still going to be a game of we've got to get it so we can celebrate at the final whistle and all this sort of stuff. And yeah, I do fear for Spurs because, let's be honest, he's not going to play his strongest team, is he? He's just not with what lies ahead. It's going to be another mishmash team. Probably the players that didn't play the other night are going to come in. It's going to be a bit of a blend. Yeah, I don't think so. I could be wrong. Spurs could suddenly pull something out of the bag, but it just feels like the remainder of this season pretty much is going to be so focused on Europa League. Games at Anfield are going to be a bit of a free hit in a way because you probably wouldn't expect to win there anyway, and especially with kind of what's going on at Spurs right now.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't go to Anfield on Sunday with both eyes just on the Bordeaux Glimt game on Thursday because, as we said, there's the very real possibility of them finishing 17th in the Premier League table, and I think you need a good performance on Sunday to go into the Bordeaux Glimt game. Personally, his approach is going to be really interesting because I don't know what he's got to do with like Mickey van der Ven. Do you start him? Does he start on the bench? But what I would say is, I think he needs minutes against Liverpool because then it's going to be 10 days between playing against Forest and then coming up against Bordeaux Glimt at home next Thursday. But yeah, I think he will rest a few players. But yeah, I imagine Destiny Doggy probably comes back in, James Maddison, because they didn't start. But yeah, I'd be resting Christian Romero. I think he'll drop out. Kevin Danso needs a start.
It's a weird one, isn't it? All the stuff he said after the game the other night still comes into play. So it's like he was saying, I wanted to give 45 minutes to Mickey and Romero because otherwise it'd be 10 days to the Liverpool game. But like you say, then it'll be 10 days to the Bordeaux Glimt game. And it's like, it's exactly the same. I wonder if he does it again. I wonder if we see two different centre-back partnerships in each half. He might. And the fans be like, and understandably so, because, it will kind of mess around with the back. But as I said the other night, I thought they looked better once Danso and Davies were on than they did with Romero and Van der Ven in the back. But Solanke obviously didn't start, so Solanke probably comes in. Like you say, Madders had a few more days to be a little bit less bashed around. Porro probably comes out. Spence switches to the right. Bergvall probably comes in. But there'll be so much kind of fear of getting knocks and injuries and everything, weren't there, in this game? Because, like I say, Liverpool are going to throw themselves at it to try and get this last point. Which I think where else? Probably Brennan Johnson comes in. Would you keep Tell going sharpness-wise, or do you have Odebear and Johnson? Or the lesser-spotted Mikey Moore?
I personally would probably take Tell out for this one, just because I'd start him against Bodo Glimt.
Yeah.
You could actually play Richie off the left. And Ange
Yeah.
said previously he needs the minutes. Given he scored the other day, got 90 minutes under his belt, you just keep him going for a bit longer.
Enough days, isn't it? Like 6
Yeah.
days between games.
Yeah. I can see Brendan Johnson coming in for Wilson Odegaard. I think in midfield, Maddison, Bergvall will start. I would probably take Bentancur out of it because I think he's played a bit of football.
Are we going to see his Basuma?
I don't know unless Pat Matasar starts again. Play Lucas as the number 6.
You kind of do need to play Basuma at some point. And I know people are probably thinking, oh, no, that's kind of chucking the game. But he needs minutes. What if Bentancur gets an injury in training ahead of the Frankfurt game, and someone else is not well, or like Sar's not well or something? You kind of could need him in there. So I do kind of feel like if the league's a write-off, you're not going to finish any higher than 13th probably. You're not going to get relegated. Maybe it is a match to bring Basuma in for.
Yeah, and then I think in defence, I could probably see him starting with Danzo and Davis. And then do you maybe just give Van der Ven 45 minutes and just give Christian Romero
or
a
half hour
rest?
at the end,
yeah, maybe something like that. I think there probably will be a few pre-planned substitutions in there. And I think Pedro Porro as well, he'll drop down to the bench because of the
Who's in
match
goal?
Vicario. Well, I've said that on the last podcast. I know you could make a case for Kinski coming in, but Kinski can't play in the Europa League. So surely you just keep Vicario in goal, hopefully get his confidence up. But then again, Spurs have shipped 4 goals in each of the last 3 games at Liverpool. So who knows?
I know. Kinski had a good debut against Liverpool.
He
did have that. Did he play? He must have played in the second leg as well, didn't he? So I think he has conceded quite a few.
Yeah, I think
I'm pretty sure he did.
Because then Vicario made his comeback at Villa. No,
yeah,
Vicario was Manchester United at home.
Yeah,
Kinski was Villa in the cup. Yeah,
because he made a mess, didn't he, against Villa early on? Yeah. Yes. So who's up front? Who's the 3 up front in yours?
Solanke, Richie, and Johnson.
Okay, I don't mind that. Yeah, no, I get the whole giving Richarlison more minutes. I think giving him an hour or so makes sense. Yeah, I'd be happy with that. I'll allow you to pick that Tottenham team. That's fine.
But certainly, all eyes are going to be on that team sheet at 3:15 because just how Ange approaches it is going to be really interesting, especially because it's going to have one eye on Thursday against Bodo Glimt. In regards to the Liverpool game, you're not going to be there on Sunday on Merseyside. You're off for a run.
I'm off for a run. I was just thinking, will you be doing joining in the Guard of Honour for Liverpool if they win at the end?
Oh, it's been perfect, hasn't it? I've obviously seen them win the Champions League in Madrid, and now I'm going to see them win the Premier League at Anfield on Sunday.
You've just got to be there, haven't you? You just want to be there. Yes, I'm. For some reason, I'm running around London on Sunday doing the London Marathon. If you're not aware already, I'm not just doing it because I'm absolutely mad. I am doing it on behalf raising money for cancer research, and we're almost at 26 grand, which is just ridiculous and way more than I ever expected we'd get to. So that's what's hopefully going to push me on. Although I have been a little bit under weather the last couple of days, I had to get some antibiotics. So I'm a little bit worried about the side effect. We were talking about this before on air. We came on air, the side effects of antibiotics and what that might mean on a long run around London. I'm hoping that none of that happens. I don't have to dash into any nearby toilets on the course. But yeah, it's going to be a hot one as well. It's like all the training and ice, snow and rain, and it's like 20 degrees on Sunday. So that's going to be experience. But what my current plan is to try and do the marathon, then find somewhere to go and sit and cover the Spurs game from afar, kind of backing you up in your role at Anfield, which is it's going to be interesting. I might be a little bit out of it.
I mean, you should make it in time if you target sub 2 hours.
It's 2 hours, yeah. I think my wave, I'm in the blue wave. I think it sets out just before 11. I have no idea what time I'm going to finish it in. I did it a long time ago. I did it 12 years ago when my body was much leaner and fitter. and even then my knee blew out in the 17th mile, and I kind of just limped around the rest of the course. So I did it in 4 hours 30 that day. So if I could get anywhere near that 12 years later, 12 years later, I would probably take that, to be honest. To be honest, I'd take it just getting across the finish line right now, the way I'm feeling. But yeah, we'll see how the day goes. And yeah, if anyone does want to donate, it's on Just Giving. If you go to the top of any of especially X or Twitter, at the top of my profile, it should have the link to the Just Giving page. It's a cause that everyone's been probably affected by some way, directly or indirectly, in their life. And it's just something we just need to keep trying to fix and getting out of this world. So yes, if my knackered knees and aching body can do anything for that, then that's great, and I'll be absolutely delighted. But yes, I will not be at Anfield on Sunday, so you will have to run down to the pitch and form the guard of honour for your that team.
Yep. We'll wait and see on that one, on that front.
You remember that day after the Champions League when we had to stay an extra day in Madrid. Our flights were the following day. It was just a sea of red, wasn't it? All of Madrid, all the Liverpool fans stayed behind as well. And it was just like, oh, this is really miserable. It was horrible. Any other point in life, you think another day in hot and sunny Madrid, beautiful. But it wasn't. It was just a city full of Liverpool fans enjoying themselves. It was, not good.
Yeah, I think they're going to be enjoying themselves quite a bit on Sunday as well.
Absolutely.
But hopefully Tottenham can get a positive performance out of the game going into next Thursday's game against Bodo Glimt in the Europa League. I think we'll leave that there for today's latest episode of Golden Guest Tottenham. We'll be back Monday. Well, I'll be back on Monday. Hopefully, you'll be there to join me. If not, it'll be Lee.
I mean, it sounds really dark. That was. What am I not making it?
In case you've not finished it in time.
Well, I'll still be running. I think they did cut it off after about 7-8 hours. I thought you were saying I died. I was like, wow, that took a dark turn.
No. Right, that's it for today's latest podcast. So just keep with us at football.london for all your latest Tottenham news. To get the best discount off your NordVPN plan, go to nordvpn.com/goldguest. Our link will also give you 4 extra months on the 2-year plan. There's no risk with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. The link is in the podcast episode description box.